Hey everyone, welcome back. Today I'm going to show you guys how you can access Binance, even if it's not available in your state or country. And obviously we're going to use the VPN for that. Now, as you might know, the US has its own version of Binance, Binance.us, but it's not available in all 50 states, including Alaska, American Samoa, Connecticut, Georgia, Guam, Maine, Northern Mariana Islands, New York, North Carolina, North Dakota, Ohio, Oregon, Texas, US Virgin Islands, Vermont, and Washington. And so, as a US resident, you won't be able to access Binance.us from those states or the main Binance.com, where you'll find over 500 options included in the main service.
However, many people are getting around this by using a VPN to connect to a server in a state where Binance.us is available, and it allows them to continue trading without any restrictions. So let's say you're traveling from a state where you'd normally use your Binance.us account in without any restriction, to a state where the website is not available. Well, you're going to get a message telling you to come back later, as they're working on having Binance be available in that specific state. And so, by using a VPN to connect to a server in a state where Binance.us is available, you'll be able to use your account to trade again without seeing this annoying message we talked about earlier. Now, this is the case when traveling from state to state, but what happens if you're traveling from a country where Binance.com is available to the United States? Well, because of US regulations, Binance.com isn't really available in the US. And if you try to use it within the US, you'll either get an error or a blank site, or you'll be redirected to the US version of Binance, which only has around 150 cryptocurrency options. That said, you can use the same method we talked about earlier to regain access to your account while visiting the US from abroad. So for example, if you're traveling from Sweden to the United States, you can connect to a Swedish VPN server, refresh the Binance.com website, and you'll be able to use your account no holds barred. Now, there's a couple of very important notes I want to quickly point out. First of all, in both these situations I just showed you, you're going to need a Binance.us or Binance.com account that is fully verified and has completed the KYC process that would enable you to trade freely. This means that before traveling to the US or switching states, you want to make sure your account is verified and fully activated. And this process requires legal documents like your driver's license, real home address, passport, and all that jazz. Second of all, if you don't already have an account and you're currently residing in a state where neither versions of Binance are available, you can still use a VPN to access either versions and create an account. But unfortunately, you won't be able to trade, withdraw, or transfer without completing the KYC process to verify that you're truly a resident of the country or state you're trying to access Binance from. And so, if you don't have the proper identification of that location, unfortunately, you won't be able to go through the KYC process, and you won't be able to use your account to trade, withdraw, or transfer cryptocurrencies. And so this video is more so a guide on how to use your already existing and verified Binance account in case you traveled somewhere where it's not available or limited to a specific version.
Now, you want to be careful as to which VPN you want to use. A lot of VPNs out there claim that they can access all sorts of content that's available worldwide, but these websites end up finding out that a VPN is being used and they restrict access to the site. So you really need a VPN with proper obfuscation, where the websites won't be able to tell that you're using a VPN. So this is why I picked up these three right here: Express, Nord, and Surfshark. Now, this is very important, and you want to connect to the VPN before you log into Binance using an incognito page. If you don't want to use an incognito page for whatever reason, I suggest going to your settings, then go to privacy and security and clear your browsing data. You want to clear your browsing data, download history, cookies from other sites, cache, etc. So once you've cleared all that, you can use the regular browser if you don't want to use incognito. But if you already tried logging into Binance and you got Binance.us, I'd recommend using incognito mode first, at least if you don't want to clear your cookies.
Okay, so first I'm going to show you guys how to access your Binance.com website when visiting the States. Let's say I have a Swedish account I want to use, and I'm traveling to the US for the sake of this example. First of all, I'm going to be connecting to the US server using ExpressVPN because I'm not currently in the US, just to show you what would happen. Now, if I try to open Binance.com while having a US IP address, thanks to the VPN, you'll get this message right here that would try to redirect you to the Binance.us version of the website. So this is basically what happens if you try to access your Binance.com account while being in the US.
So let me close this and open up a new incognito window and disconnect from my VPN. I'm going to use my favorite option, ExpressVPN, to show you how this is done. But if you want to get it ready and follow along, the links are in the description, and you can use the discount too to save yourself some money. Now, if you want to connect to a server in Switzerland using ExpressVPN or Nord or Surfshark, whichever one, I'll briefly talk about these VPNs at the end of the video. But first, let me show you guys how you can access the full Binance experience. Okay, now that I'm connected to Switzerland, if I head over onto Binance, it opens up right away, and there we go. So once we have Binance.com open, let's go ahead and see if we can get any kind of restriction here.
Now, once you have access to Binance.com while using a server in Switzerland or wherever your account is originally from, you want to make sure that you're always connected to the same region the entire time time you're using Binance. Otherwise, Binance might detect there is suspicious activity going on and would freeze you out or put your account on hold. Also, don't try to withdraw or transfer large amounts. So when you're using a VPN, just try to keep everything small, because if you want to withdraw bigger amounts, you might flag your account and have it manually inspected, which could lead to some issues with Binance. So just stay on the safe side, keep your activities moderate without dealing in huge sums of money. Besides that, you'll want to make sure that you don't log into Binance.us or open the US version of the website in the first place if your original account is based outside the US.
And if you did, maybe use a different browser. Use Firefox or just incognito mode, Internet Explorer, just something without any cache and cookies if you've already tried using Binance from the States. Again, always connect to your VPN before accessing Binance.
Now, as far as accessing Binance.us from a state where it's not available, let's say my original account is from Florida, but I'm traveling to Washington where Binance is not available, I'll get this message right here telling me that Binance has not yet been approved by the state regulators and they're trying hard to make it accessible. And the process to get around this is pretty simple. All I need is to close the browser, go to Express, connect to a VPN server in Florida, maybe Miami, then once connected, I go back to Binance and hit refresh, and that's pretty much it. Also, don't forget to use incognito windows or clear your browser cache before doing this, just in case it keeps giving you the same error message. Now, as far as VPNs go, I choose these 3 VPNs because they're very secure, they have strict no-logs policies, which are actually verified through independent audit reports, and each of their no-logs policies are as solid as they can be.
And overall, they're just great VPNs. Of course, they all vary in budgets and features, so just pick and choose depending on your own specific situation and preferences. So to go over them briefly, with ExpressVPN, you've got over 3,000 servers in 105 countries. As you can see with the country options right here, you also have basic security features like the kill switch and split tunneling. These can be super useful. The kill switch makes sure that when you're disconnected from the VPN, it'll cut your internet connection to prevent any leaks, so that the only way you're connected to the internet is through the secure servers of the VPN. And split tunneling will allow you to choose which applications are routed through the VPN and which ones aren't. So what you can do is, for example, if you only want your torrenting client or your browser to use the VPN while the rest of your network isn't covered by the VPN, you can do that with split tunneling. There are a handful of protocols, Lightway being the best one for performance, and with ExpressVPN, you'll be able to protect up to 8 devices with a single subscription. With NordVPN, you've got 7,300 servers in 117 countries and plenty of features to work with, like a bunch of specialty servers including dedicated IP and double VPN, and threat protection, which is like a mini antivirus. As far as protocols, you should definitely stick with using the NordLynx protocol because it makes NordVPN arguably the fastest VPN in the industry. And then you'll have a kill switch and an app kill switch. So the app kill switch will close selected apps when you disconnect from the VPN or if the connection drops, rather than disconnecting your entire network, as it is with the conventional kill switch. Other than these, Nord's got so many more features like split tunneling and an easy way to change DNS with custom DNS. There's also MeshNet if you want to send or receive files over the encrypted version of Nord, and very recently they've added an identity theft protection feature, though it's not completely rolled out to all users yet and it's only available in the US. Now, as far as protocols go, you should definitely stick with using the NordLynx protocol because it makes NordVPN arguably the fastest VPN in the industry. But if you live in a censorship-heavy country like Turkey, for example, Nord's newly added protocol, Nord Whisper, will be able to get around these heavy network restrictions that would otherwise block VPN functions. And as far as simultaneous connections go, you'll be able to secure up to 10 devices with Nord, slightly more than Express, which only allows up to 8 devices. Now, if you're looking for something even more budget-friendly and the availability to add up to an unlimited number of devices with one account, then Surfshark's your go-to. Surfshark has over 3,200 servers in 100 countries. It's very convenient. You can share your account with as many people as you'd like all of your friends and family can use the same account. As far as features, you still have multi-hop and static IP, and there's also basic security features like Bypasser, which is the same as split tunneling, but it's just called Bypasser. And you have Clean Web, which is an ad blocker, and you have a handful of protocols. But just stick with WireGuard because it's the best performing one. And one thing to quickly point out, Surfshark is the only VPN I've seen offer split tunneling for iOS devices. And that's a big thing since the majority of VPNs are not capable of doing this due to how restrictive Apple's operating systems are. So yeah, it's a very budget-friendly and convenient VPN.
So that's all for this video. Again, just keep in mind not to make huge withdrawals from Binance if you're using a VPN to avoid the possibility of your account being manually inspected.
2, don't try to access Binance without being connected to your VPN first. And 3, make sure you clear your cache and cookies if you're using Google Chrome. Otherwise, use incognito mode, but if you keep using incognito mode, they might be alerted and something could look suspicious to them. If you're constantly logging in and you don't have any cookies or cache or anything like that, it might look a bit weird to them, so I definitely recommend you clear your cache, clear your cookies, and then use the regular browser while using the VPN, and never access Binance without using a VPN, so you should be good to go that way. Besides that, all these VPNs are covered by a 30-day money-back guarantee, and by the the way, you can just try whichever one without any risk, really. And then the 24/7 live chat support is how you can get that refund or ask any other questions you might be having about these VPNs. But again, you'll find links to special deals and discounts in the description down below, as well as full reviews. Thank you so much for watching. Like and subscribe to see more of these videos, and let me know in the comments if there's anything cybersecurity you'd like me to cover. So again, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.